Happy hump day, Wolf Pack. We got a little switch up of some deadlift work. So I hope you guys enjoy this Wednesday workout. You're going to superset the deadlifts and the strict press, kind of like we were supersetting our bench press and bent over rows the last couple Thursdays. So each set consists of 15 reps of each movement. But we're going to do them in the 5-4-3-2-1 fashion, so you can load up the deadlift bar a little heavier and you can load up the strict press a little bit heavier than you would if you're going to do 15 in a row. So 5 deadlifts, 5 strict press, 4-4-3-3-2-2-1-1. That's one set. And these are meant to be somewhat of a fast superset, but you want to make sure you're resting long enough between these to achieve some heavier weights on the deadlift and the strict press. Okay. We did the 5 rep deadlift last week, and then we did some unbroken sets last week in the Metcon. I think it was 70% or 65%, something like that. So probably a good place to start for this deadlift superset is somewhere around that 65%, maybe a little bit more, since that was kind of an unbroken AMRAP and most people were 10 to 12 or so. So you could probably add some weight to that. We're accumulating more reps than you probably would in the AMRAP, but it's at a lower rep fashion, so you can probably add some weight to that. But that'd be a good place to at least kind of start and build off of or go from. From the strict press, we did 5-4-3-2-1 on the strict press for building strength, and I would say probably after the cycle of the strict press, you could probably do your set of 4 or maybe even your set of 3 for this entire thing. Probably safer to go with the set of 4, since we probably built some overhead strength. You could probably hit it for 5, and then you know you're going to do it for 4-3-2-1. So probably somewhere around that. But we're going to do one weight across the board for all 15 reps. So pick a challenging deadlift weight and a challenging strict press weight, and then try not to change it unless it's so light that you think you can get more out of the superset by going a little bit heavier in the next set. So try to guess correctly on the first set so we can get a lot out of these sets from the get-go. Okay, touch and go deadlifts. So we're not pausing, we're not doing tempo, so just make sure we keep a good tension on the barbell. Bar path is straight down to the ground, close to the body. And then we keep all the tension in the bottom. As soon as we hit the ground, we spring back up. Okay, just some good strength work, just some volume work here. If you want to do the accessory work instead, 3 to 4 sets, you got 10 barbell hip thrusts. So your back is on the bench. It's best to put the bench usually against the wall, and then you're going to sink your hips all the way down and thrust up. So coach can show you this in the morning. And the hip extension is actually on the GHD machine where you're face down and you actually have your hips off the front, hinge down, squeeze your glutes on the way up, and hold for a second. So hip extension burnout. Coach can show you that too. And then you can flip-flap it for 15 GHD sit-ups and then a leg lift burnout just for a little bit of a midline. It's just some midline work. Metcon. 3 minutes on, 1 minute off. So we're doing a lot of interval work these days. This is because we're learning to push intensity. We're working at a higher rate than we normally would if we were building more of that state, conditioning for like an open workout. So through all of the interval stuff, and especially tomorrow, your goal is to push faster paces, do bigger sets on the toes to bar, maybe go faster on the burpees than you normally would, because you do get that rest period at the end. So we want to push ourselves through these intervals a little bit higher than our threshold, or right at that threshold, a little bit harder than we normally would if this was a 12-minute AMRAP of these. Your pace would be a lot slower because we have to maintain pacing and not lose energy. So faster on the burpees, maybe bigger sets on the toes to bar, push yourself to hang on to the wall ball, and then rest a minute and then repeat. So time frames here, 3 minutes, 15 burpees. It's going to take you somewhere all of a minute, depending on how fast we are on burpees, and if we're not trying to totally overly fatigue ourselves. If you're proficient with these, you can do these in 45 seconds to a minute. Same thing on the toes to bar. Want to get through these quickly. If you do these unbroken or even in 2 sets, you're probably going to be looking at 30, 40 seconds. That's going to leave us with a little bit over a minute on the wall balls, and I think that's very good. So best case scenario, we'd have about 90 seconds on the wall balls, so we can get through a couple sets, 2 to 3 sets on the wall balls, and accumulate a ton of volume. So just make sure whatever we're doing, bar facing burpees, probably shouldn't extend past a minute, since we are doing these on the start or the first movement, so you do get a rest before you get to the burpees. So we should be able to crank through those a little faster, and then just make sure for our toes to bar, these are not taking more than I'd probably say 45 seconds from a stimulus perspective. Probably 3 to 5 sets maximum. That way we can get to the wall balls and have a ton of time to crank out reps here. So just getting some volume. 4 sets, so it's a lot. But other than that, have a great hump day, great Wednesday. If you have questions, let me know. We'll see you in the gym. Toodles, later. Peace out.